Okay,
So,
so
so the city council members in San Jose are a lot like the city council members in Night Vale
mhm,
because of vacations. I
vacations.
remember the one time I went there for a TCU thing,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
and there was like they were literally going to plan a vacation so they could go to like um, Amsterdam.
Were they gonna window shop?
No, they were gonna go to Amsterdam so they could go and see how Amsterdam did like bike lots or something like that.
Mhm.
They were gonna use tax money to go on a trip to Amsterdam to see. Doesn't that sound like bullshit?
As long as they weren't going to Amsterdam to window shop.
We're probably actually going there so they could just toke it up and window shop and do whatever.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, the authorities in San Jose are idiots, so.
And there was like some guy who came up there. He's like, "Are you sure a vacation's really necessary? Like, are you sure you should actually have to go there to Amsterdam to go see that?" And the city council members are like bullshitting. They're like, "Yes," and yeah, I think it's the best way to do it. Blah 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 blah. You know.
Yeah.
And then like a bunch of angry Christian dudes came up and like said different things related to God, and they're like, blah blah blah, you can't say that the Christians blah 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 because we know that blah blah they serve God and blah blah. And then like the city council members are like, your time's up, get the fuck out.
You know, if you want to serve God, the best way to do that is by not screaming angrily at people. Hold on. So yeah, as we're saying, the best way to serve God is by not screaming angrily at people, because God tends to not like hateful people that much. So yeah, that's dumb. This is not going to balance on here. Just going to put it on top of the Oreos. There you go. Enjoy the sounds of us grabbing Oreos.
Yep.
This is our breakfast, guys. It's Oreos, Sunny D, milk, and bread, and a shit ton of yogurt. Look how hard we adult.
Here's some loud tourist fucks out there.
I thought they were drunk guys.
Could have been. We wouldn't know, would we? We wouldn't care enough to.
I was just gonna say. Honestly, it doesn't really surprise me that city council is misusing city funds like that.
No surprise to me either.
It's the government. So, we've been in San Francisco for about a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tomorrow's gonna be, well, today's our last day. And tomorrow's the day we're gonna GTFO.
Yep.
So, no. What have you thought about San Francisco so far?
No. Yeah. I don't really like it at all.
So, spanging is impossible here because there's so many hobos. Although we did come up with a new sign. Don't want drugs, don't want booze, just hungry, need food.
Yep.
Which I think is a great one, because when we were spanging outside that symposium, people kept asking us, like, are you going to use that money for drugs? Go get something to eat. Don't buy drugs. And I'm like, I don't do drugs. But, the funny thing about the Nerium Symposium is that it's for anti-aging stuff, right? Look at me. I don't look my age. I am 24 years old. I look significantly younger. And this one woman, she's like, so how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 24. And she's like, wow, you look younger. And she just kind of, like, you know, she helped me out, but she walked away. But then later, this one really intense woman came up to us and was advertising anti-aging products at us, you know, from their pyramid scheme. And the thing is that we're 18 and 24. I mean, firstly, we don't need anti-aging products because we're so young, and secondly, we don't look that old. Like, this one here, he looks very mature, but not old. He's got a very youthful face. And me, I mean, I haven't changed since I was 14, and I'm gonna be like probably Allison Hannigan levels of young looking. Because, I mean, that woman is 47 years old. And she still looks like she could play a 16-year-old on TV. You know what I'm going to do? Someone starts... You know how inevitably when we're spanging, someone will be a smartass and they'll give me some kind of paper or something, and I'll be like, wow, this is such great advice. Can I eat it? What I'm going to do, I'm just going to start handing them my Sigyn cards.
Yep.
Be like, oh, here, have a shitty Wikipedia link. You're going to give me pointless stuff, I'm going to give you pointless stuff right back. How's that? Actually, I have a better idea. I'll make up index cards for my show and hand them out to people. Oh, they'll be like, what's this? Oh, this is my show. You know, when I was at Macy's, and they encouraged us to sign the package with our initials. Well, firstly, I would write my full name, because, you know, why initials? Second, I just started getting creative. I wrote Evan Dub Productions on them. You know, advertising DOF. And, I mean, they're probably going to throw them away because no one really cares what's on those cards, but, I mean, at least one person might have looked at it and been like, I wonder what Evan Dub Productions is. I'm going to look that up. How's my adorable Loki doing?
That's good.
Good. I remember when you used to say you didn't drink a lot of milk because it did weird things to you.
That's because it was job corn milk.
That's true. You know, they claimed they had whole milk, right? But then I'd go to my dad's and I'd drink, well, my dad buys whole milk, you know, because he doesn't believe in all the diet craze BS, right? So I'd drink whole milk with my dad, and it would actually taste like milk. Job corn milk didn't. That tastes like milk that's done slightly off.
That's funny.
Well, I mean, it tastes different from, like, sometimes I'll drink milk and it's like, oh my god, it's so delicious, it's milk. And then I'll drink milk and I'm like, this has a faint coppery taste to it. Oh. I mean, it's so good. Sell by date is April 28th, so today is the 19th. So we're good.
Yeah.
Well. Let's get out my computer and work on my show.
Okay.
So I'm reading Loki, Ariana Black, and he just gave the most precious expression. I was like, it's about Sirius and Tabby when they were kids, but told through letters. And he looked at me with his mouth full like, what the fuck? Okay. That Mervyn says that type of story should only be done by experts, meaning the author should not have attempted it. And then Mrs. Hyde's like, why? Do you have it? Hold on. I'm trying to find the right thing to balance this on because, like, I really want to be able to see your face. Oh, wait! I can't tell if it can see you properly, though. Okay, here. Ah! Good enough. Okay. Mrs. Hyde, why? Do you have it? Mervyn. No, she took it down and put all the crap she'd already written in that stupid fic that has Airhead's mother in it. Jeez, I hate that story. Mrs. Hyde. Oh, and by the way, how could that sort of story be told through letters? They spent every frickin' second together. Mervyn. And she probably stopped writing after she found out he got magic and she didn't. Boy, did that piss her off. And somebody please review my one boy story. It's all lonely without any reviews.
Oh, God.
Mrs. Hyde. Translation. Fill the entire review board with mindless babbling praise about how great she is. You know, fuel her already colossal ego. Hey, Harry, Ariana said as she exploded. Bounced into the living room. Literally, she bounced. It's Stormy on Simutax!
What?
That's what Mrs. Hyde says. And Mervyn says, well, Airhead, go bounce somewhere else. She was incredibly hyper, having just eaten an entire box of chocolate frogs. She couldn't have held still if she tried. Mervyn. I despise it when people make it out like chocolate makes you absolutely hyper when you're older than 10. It doesn't, okay? And no, you're not outrageously funny when you get hyper. You're an annoying little brat.
Yeah, let's see how much she moves when Voldemort casts a killing curse on her.
Oh my god, I wish. Has Sprite gotten back yet? Mrs. Hyde. She already got back, along with everyone else in these fics. Nope, haven't seen her. And that is a good thing. In fact, I hope she never comes back. I hope she's right back where she came from, the deepest bowels of hell. Harry said, glancing up from his book. Where have you been? Out with Neville, she replied. Mrs. Hyde. Oh, she was shagging. Mervyn. No surprise, that's all she does. We went for a walk through the woods. Mrs. Hyde. Is he a bear? Whose turn is it for dinner? Mine, he replied glumly. If you went for a walk, why are you so hyper? Because she's an annoying little bit and has found yet another way to drive the readers to insanity. We brought a box of chocolate frogs with us. Ate them all, she said, still bouncing around the room. Mervyn, 2 questions. How many chocolate frogs are in a box? Mrs. Hyde, I'm not sure, but I suspect it's a small amount. And the second question? Mervyn, what exactly is bouncing around the room? Mrs. Hyde, where is Neville anyway? Hanging out with Neville, no way. He already went upstairs. But I wanted to check and see if Sprite had gotten back yet, she replied, heading up the stairs. Mrs. Hyde, I don't like that implication at all. Well, look who's finally back, Ron's voice said from his room. I'm sick of the word back. It is used about 50 million times in every fic. Oh, come on. We weren't gone that long, Ariana said as Neville appeared out of her room. Mrs. Hyde, that implication is truly vile, and now I must go take 50 showers.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and I seem to recall someone being out until 1 in the morning a few days ago with a certain brown-haired girl, Neville teased. Mervyn, doing what, might I ask? Mrs. Hyde, I really don't want to know. I have a reasonable excuse for that. Getting lost on the way home is not a reasonable excuse, Ariana told him. Ron is 19 years old, and so is Hermione. They are adults. They can do whatever they bloody well want, whether it be wander around until 1 in the morning or have hot monkey sex against a wall. Mrs. Hyde. Oh, no! Mervyn. Well, they can. They are scolding you, airhead, because you are 15 years old. You are a minor. Mrs. Hyde. However, the author is not, and as Airhead is the author, she too can to whoever she bloody well wants. Doesn't matter anyway, not like we're going to punish you for it. Mervyn, not a surprise, she never gets punished for anything. Mrs. Hyde, correction, no one ever gets punished for anything. Oh, and I'd watch out, Harry's cooking tonight. I think I'll see if Hermione wants to go out for dinner, Ron said immediately. Mervyn, if he's such a horrible cook, why do they have him cook in the first place? Usually people designate tasks to each other, you know. Harry might be banished to cleaning the dishes afterwards. I heard that, Harry shouted up the stairs. No way, if we have to suffer, so do you, Neville said. Mrs. Hyde, yeah, I know all about that logic. Why do you think I'm here, Mervyn? Mervyn, shut up and read the fic. Anyone complains and I'll have Hagrid cook, Harry shouted up again. Oh, is that who taught you how to cook? Ron shouted down to him. Mrs. Hyde, uh-oh. The Sioux will be mad that they actually applied a learned skill to someone else besides her. Like he'd really come from Hogwarts just to cook us dinner, Ariana mumbled. Mrs. Hyde, I hate that. Mumbling is the wrong word. Mervyn, well, he would if the Sioux asked him to. Mrs. Hyde, I'm afraid I have to contest that. We haven't even heard of Hagrid since year 2. And she's stupid if she thought he was serious. Serious is in the word serious.
Yeah.
Might be an improvement, Neville added. Another typical day, thought Ariana. Mrs. Hyde, like totally. Mervyn, what a ditz. Yeah, that is why I'm reading her in this voice. Well, as typical as could be expected around here. Mervyn, yeah, people running around like 3-year-olds is pretty odd. Mrs. Hyde, and of course it's expected. Everything in these fics is so trite and redundant, it's not that hard to expect anything. Ariana was glad Sirius was so understanding. Whoops, I read that in the wrong... Oh well. Mrs. Hyde, translation, she was glad she had him wrapped around her little finger. Not many people would have tolerated have 6 young adults living in their house. Mervyn.
No.
Mervyn. Yeah, if it weren't serious smack, he would have said, get out of my house, you bloody freeloaders. You're 19 years old and out of school. Get a job and find your own homes. And I'm only counting 5 young adults. Mrs. Hyde. Airhead included herself in that count. But Sirius had practically insisted they all stay during the summer holidays. Mrs. Hyde, ugh, he's a troll. Good thing they had 2 spare bedrooms anyway. Oh, so that was the point of making the house so big, so they could all live together and continue to allow Airhead to feed off of them. Okay, I get it. Hermione and Ginny would be sharing a bed. One until they decided to find an apartment. A flat! And Neville was sharing Ron's room until he left for Hogwarts again. Ew, yuck! No, wrong! Oh my god, Mrs. Hyde is awesome. Ariana! Neville called from upstairs. What? Mervyn, Canon Neville. I have a surprise for you! Switches the safety off.
Oh god. That'd be perfect.
It would. Sprite's back! Mervyn flies into a murderous rage. The owl! The owl! Sprite is a Sioux owl that Ariana owns.
Oh no.
She's on her way down, he called, just as Sprite flew into the room and landed on Ariana's shoulder. Mervyn. Hi, Cutie Loaf.
Hi, Cutiekin.
Oh, well, this stopped recording at some point and I wasn't aware of it, but still. Or she stripped. Sprite, answer me. What did you do? Sprite returned to cleaning her feathers, avoiding Ariana's eyes. Mervyn says the word stab repeatedly. Yeah. Sprite, you didn't! Sprite nuzzled her head against Ariana's neck in an almost apologetic way. Mervyn is completely incoherent with rage by this point and has been reduced to random obscenities. I thought I told you not to do that anymore. You're supposed to be nice to him. Mrs. Hyde, and we are now promptly dive-bombed with crap from that bloody owl. What a great way to open up a fic.
That owl just sounds terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like some sort of like rainbow-colored owl or some shit?
I forget what it actually looks like.
Or like a super owl or something dumb like that?
Okay, so you know pigwidgeon?
Yeah.
It's like a female pigwidgeon. Ariana scolded, but one looked at Sprite's face and she forgot her anger. Mervyn. And now we're gonna see my favorite balloon creation, a Tommy gun! Alright, just please try and be nicer to him. Mrs. Hyde. We're supposed to not know who she's talking about, aren't we? Mervyn. Of course, because it's supposed to be such a surprise when we see who signed the frickin' letter. Are you talking to her again? Jenny asked as she walked through the room on her way upstairs. Mrs. Hyde, Ken and Jenny. Because if you are, I swear I'm going to seal your mouth shut and banish your owl so hard it'll fly all the way to Canada. Okay. Of course I am, aren't I, sweetie? She asked, stroking her feathers again. No, you are not. What did she do? You sounded angry when I walked in. No, you heard me! I was angry! I'm still angry! I hate that owl! Gee, do you think Mervyn hates the owl?
Yep.
Oh, Sprite just did something she knows she's not supposed to do. Dive-bombing Neville again? Sprite shook her head. Ginny and Ariana started laughing. Oh my god, the humanity! The humanity! Is nothing sacred? Life has no meaning! All is dark! All is despair! We're all going to die! Mrs. Hyde places the Sean Bean pick I am Lady Chatterley's lover in front of Mervyn. Mervyn, whee! Falls over. Come on, Sprite. Let's go out to the hammock so I can read my letter, Ariana said. Mrs. Hyde. Oh, so now she's taking her owl to one of her favorite makeout spots. Sprite stood on her shoulder, peering down at the letter as Ariana read, almost like she was reading it too. Hyde. You know, at this rate, I'm going to be hating that owl as much as you. And they wonder why I talk to her like she's human, Ariana thought. Mervyn. You suck it so hard. Let's see. Can you do an impression of Snape's voice at all?
No.
Okay, neither can I, but... Dear Ariana, glad to hear you've been enjoying your summer so far. Mrs. Hyde, that is so in character for the way Snape speaks. I don't think your owl likes me very much, though. I refuse to believe that Snape can't use commas. She keeps flying at me as I'm writing this, so... Hyde, I'm about to hit it with a banishment charm. I'll keep this short. It was nice to hear from you, or anyone for that matter. What a wine bag! I'm sure by now you have heard about the Muggle killings in the Daily Prophet. Mrs. Hyde has severed Snap, although I have no idea what they mean because I'm dumb like that. I don't want to worry you, but the last few have been relatively close to where I live. No kidding, you live in a Muggle area, bonehead. Dumbledore believes it is Voldemort's way of sending a warning to me. Well, isn't that a way to keep people from worrying about you? It's like saying, I live next to a maximum security prison. One of the residents is a serial killer that I managed to put away. He swore revenge and now he's escaped, but don't worry. Especially if he wasn't joking about what he told you, that you would be used to kill me under the influence of the potion. Hyde, I sincerely wish that I could do something awful to this author. Just something to repay her for the pain and the misery that I have endured in the curse of these fics. I doubt he was joking. It's not in his nature. Kind of like crap like this isn't in an in-character Snape's nature. Snape just said that joking was not in Lord Voldemort's nature. Stick a needle in my eye.
I know.
What are you doing with my bobby pin?
Nothing.
Oh. Don't worry about me. Oh, she won't. She'd rather worry about herself. Can you put your face back where it was so the camera can catch it, cutie?
I want to lie down.
Oh. You want to lay down?
Yeah.
You want to be a laying down, Keith?
Yeah.
Okay.